Welcome, families. My name is Mr. Hibshman, and I teach AP Physics 1, Earth and Space Science, and Integrated Chemistry and Physics. Let's get started. So, quickly about me. I was born and raised in Elkhart, Indiana, just up north of here, the RV motorhome capital of the world. I went to Elkhart Memorial High School. This is my 7th year of teaching and my 2nd at Riverside. Some of the students may know that this is actually my first year teaching science at Riverside. I was teaching math last year. I'm a proud Butler graduate, go Dogs. I studied physics and education, and I also did some astronomy research and worked at the observatory there. Speaking of, I am the astronomy club moderator, which I'll show you some photos of very soon. I want to make a quick couple of statements about inclusion and diversity. So I understand that everyone's experiences are different, and I, of course, want to be sensitive to the unique circumstances of every family and student. So as a white guy, I understand that I have certain biases and ignorances that are just hard for me to overcome because I'm a white guy. And so my goal is to overcome those as best I can to best serve your students. So please feel free to respectfully communicate any challenges or conflicts you have with me or that your students encounter while they're learning virtually or in person or anything like that. We want to make sure everyone feels welcome, happy, and comfortable here at Riverside. Additionally, with that in mind, because of these uncertain times, I want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable communicating with me. The main way to reach me is by email. I'll show that at the very end here. But I also want to mention that students are new to this as well as teachers. Virtual learning is essentially brand new to all of us. And I want you to let me know which ways I can best improve the experience for your students to make this whole learning from home thing much more effective. Anyway, so several photos of me. There I am at Butler. This is where I learned a lot of my astronomy knowledge working at the observatory and doing research, and it's also where I met my wife. When I did my student teaching, I was lucky enough to go to Australia, where I learned to surf, and I helped Australian kids learn how to do physics. There they are doing a egg drop. Additionally, here is my wife, Jenny. She is also a teacher. She works at Pike High School. She teaches English as a new language, and we both share an adventurous spirit. We've gone on some really wonderful trips, both around the country and around the world. This is my family. I'm the middle child of 3 boys. I'm actually this one over here. I know I look just like my little brother. Both of my parents are teachers, and I'm actually a 5th generation teacher, fun fact. Astronomy Club is the club that I moderate for Riverside, and here are some photos from 2019 of the students and of what they could see through the telescope, which was wonderful. We also got a slightly bigger telescope, this red one here, and we had students in the morning looking at the moon last year during homecoming week. So if your student's interested, and you're interested, we can actually do virtual astronomy club nights this year using this camera and my computer, and we can do that all over Zoom, which I'm very excited for. And these are, again, more of the things we'll be able to see through the telescope. In terms of actual class time, keeping up with class, it's going to be Google Classroom, Google Classroom, Google Classroom. Pretty much everything that we do is going to start in Google Classroom. It may take students to other platforms, but that's going to be where we go. You do need to be signed into the Riverside Gmail for absolutely everything. Otherwise, most things will not work this year. I'll mention at the end, but I have certain office hours that can be found on the school website, as well as my email address. You can check grades on PowerSchool, and then students are encouraged to use their virtual seminar to get their work done, like a study hall time. They do not have to attend seminar, by the way. And as I'll show you in a moment, Google Sites are in the works for Earth, Space Science, and AP Physics. This is what Google Classroom looks like. When you first go in, you'll be on the stream. That's sort of like a social media feed where teachers can give updates. There's also a classwork page that has, not surprisingly, all the classwork that the students will do. Some of these assignments will be done just in Google Classroom. Others will take them to a different site or different platform. A few class-specific items I want to mention. For Earth and Space Science, that's a senior course that I'm teaching. This is the first year we're doing it at Riverside. We're going to combine our knowledge of space with our knowledge of the planet to learn all about both our universe and the world around us. Good news, there's no physical textbook for students to use. It is going to be very heavily project-based, which means we're going to be doing things like investigating certain scientific discoveries, looking for life on other planets, and coming up with a way to do that. We're also going to work on preparing an emergency preparedness kit, not just for Riverside, but also for students at home. And we're also going to use a combination of web-based platforms for our learning. Those will be rolled out hopefully slowly so students aren't confused, and if you do have questions, you're welcome to reach out. Some specific things for AP Physics 1. It is a challenging but very fun course. I am so delighted to be working with my AP Physics 1 scholars. The exam is May 5th of 2021. Mark your calendars. We will be using OpenStax throughout most of the course of the year, which is a virtual textbook that students will know all about. It is going to be a very heavily inquiry-based course as well. We're going to be using the knowledge of physics to answer open-ended questions through the course of our class. So students, if they're not used to this type of learning, they may find this challenging or frustrating. In fact, we just are working on a virtual lab right now where the answer could be two different things. And the whole point is students have to use their knowledge of physics and evidence to back up their answer, which may be new for some of them. Tell them to hang in there. They're going to be fine. And the reason we're doing inquiry-based is that is the way that students learn physics the best. And just FYI, it's going to be a flipped model course, which means that in general, notes are going to be done at home, while things like discussions, labs, and problems, a lot of that will happen during class. So they may have a lot of homework, but most of that homework is going to be things like writing down notes or finishing up lab reports, but a lot of time will be spent during class on those things. Last but not least, we have integrated chemistry and physics. This is our introductory science course. We are not going to be having any physical textbooks. Excitingly, also an inquiry-based course, we're going to be setting students up for success in their physics and other classes as we move forward throughout their high school careers. And we're going to be doing that by seeking to answer open-ended questions, virtual labs, things of that nature. Last couple things, I do have 2 websites under construction. So for Earth and Space Science and for my AP classes, I'm working on getting these up to date. For right now, everything can be found on Google Classroom. Especially parents, you do not need to worry about these sites. I will send a message out to folks when these are ready to go. Last but not least, here is my contact information. It can also be found on all the Google sites and on the website. But I have my office hours by 15-minute appointment slots from 10:30 to noon or 12:30 on Wednesdays, and from 1 to 2 students can just drop by. The best way to contact me is by emailing me. But between 8 a.m. and about 5 p.m. I am usually answering emails. And of course, feel free to reach out at any time to ask questions or make comments or raise concerns with me. Thank you so much. This has been your student science teacher, Mr. Hibshman. Have a wonderful evening.